Hello and welcome everybody to today's edition of Mexico News Network's Breaking News Business here at the El Dorado Royale Spa Resort in Mexico's Riviera Maya. I'm your host, Elliot Bullman. Before we start, remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Google+. And you can catch us by logging on to MexicoNewsNetwork.com for relevant stories and news. Let's begin with today's show. Cancun and the Riviera Maya are Mexico's most attractive tourism destinations for investors looking to invest in real estate. In 2016, over 21,000 appraisals for the purchase of real estate occurred, representing a growth of 4% on the previous year, according to the president of the Colegio de Evaluadores de Quintana Roo, Arturo Machuca Garcia. He added that the strong numbers of tourism activity in Quintana Roo generated a significant economic spillover among the population, which allowed them to continue building new complexes and acquiring housing, 70% through loans of social interest and 30% with bank credit for middle and residential housing. 2017, therefore, is expected to register a similar increase to that recorded in 2016. He stressed that Quintana Roo's solid economy, which is based on tourism, hasn't suffered from external pressures, such as the depreciation of the peso against the dollar, the increase in the price of fuels, or even the Trump effect. In my view, real estate transactions, lending and home construction look strong for this year, and I would expect it to surpass the 21,000 valuations recorded in 2016. British bank Barclays plc has announced it's ready to inject millions in capital into the Mexican economy, despite the financial hurdles presented by President Donald Trump. Over the past 5 years, Barclays has been in the process of rethinking its business model that's led to the sale of unwanted assets in Asia, Europe and Africa, cuts in thousands of jobs and changes in the board of directors of the UK parent company. Barclays Mexico seeks to grow in the business of investment banking and markets with this capitalization, and the director assured that the Mexican unit is the one that has had the best results at the local level. The bank plans to expand its capital investment to 5 billion pesos as part of its strategy to focus on competitive markets. He added that they also registered capital movements in other sectors, such as the case of Tequila Cuervo, that made the first public offering on the Mexican Stock Exchange this year. Another transaction in which Barclays served as an investor was the increase in the participation of the American carrier Delta Airlines in Aeromexico, which changed from controlling 4.7% of the shares of the Mexican group to having the option to own up to 49% of the share. In my view, it's the development of infrastructure and the opening of the energy sector in Mexico that's attracting the interest of foreign investors. In other headlines, Mexico's top pork producer, Granjas Carrol, has announced it plans to double its sow count over the next 4 years as part of an ambitious $550 million expansion project, as it contemplates the risk of a cross-border trade spat with the United States. The executive said Mexico could expand its pork exports to Japan and Korea, and could end up importing more pork from producers in the European Union if trade with the United States becomes more difficult in the future. We're not just thinking about growth, we're also going to enter the meat market, he said in an interview. Once the expansion is complete, the company will be producing 2.8 million pigs a year, which is around 140,000 tons of meat. Incidentally, this will be the largest abattoir ever built in Mexico. While Mexico produced almost 1.4 million tons of pork last year, it imported 990,000 tons, nearly 90% coming from the United States, according to government data. In my view, with this mega expansion program, Mexico's pork industry can now cope with local demand expansion and a huge population increase, which of course means now they'll require less pork from the United States. This was all for today. Thank you for dropping by here at the El Dorado Royale Spa Resort in Mexico's Riviera Maya. I'm Elliot Bullman. Before we go, don't forget to check out all our social media networks, Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, and stay tuned in on MexicoNewsNetwork.com for more information on Mexico and the world. Until next time.